Welcome to Open Your Mouth and Speak. I'm Monica, the motivator, dedicated to inspiring and empowering women and families to heal by the power of God with His grace and mercy. Through uplifting talks, community workshops, and compassionate support, I strive to help others break free from pain and shame, fostering hope and transformation on their healing journey. Revelations 12 and 11 from the Amplified Version. And they overcame and conquered him because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their testimony. For they did not love their life and renounce their faith, even when faced with death. This podcast is designed to give a voice to victims and survivors, encouraging them to share their stories in whatever way feels right for them, whether through speaking, writing, art, or simply listening and reflecting. By providing a safe and compassionate space, we hope to help individuals free themselves from the pain and shame that often accompany trauma, while also empowering others to gain the courage to begin their own healing journey. By coming together and sharing experiences, we create a supportive community where healing and understanding can flourish. So today we have with us none other than Miss Chris F., which is Chris Fuller. Um, Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Thank you, Chris, for taking the time out of your, I know, very busy schedule to be a part of this great movement and trying to educate people about different topics, including their finances. So today we're going to talk to Chris, who is a financial educator, financial coach. Why are so many people in debt? And I'm going to read a bio for Chris so you all can understand why this person is so amazing and why she's a part of this podcast today. So Chris K is an author, app creator, and financial literacy advocate dedicated to helping individuals and communities understand wealth building and home ownership. She is the creator of I Got the Keys app, a platform designed to guide people through the real process of preparing for and purchasing property while building long term financial stability. And I want to share with you all her app, what that looks like, just in case you're interested. This is it. I Got the Keys. Hold on, please. Very beautiful. So you see that it is available at the App Store for Apple and for Google Play.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Chris focuses on teaching not only how to gain wealth, but how to maintain it and make smarter financial decisions for the future. Through her work, she provides education and tools that empower individuals, investors, and home buyers to move confidently toward ownership and financial independence. Chris is also expanding her impact through new initiatives that support home buyers, real estate investors, and legal professionals by helping simplify the property process and empowering communities with the knowledge and tools needed to make confident financial decisions. And just in case you're interested, this is a copy of her book that is called The Blueprint to Financial Aftermath of Buying, The Blueprint to Financial Liberty by Chris K. And you can purchase that online. And so I want to give some statistics before you start, before we get into our questions for you, Chris. So in 2025, poor spending habits are driven by a combination of high living costs, psychological triggers, and the convenience of modern payment technologies. Recent data highlights that nearly half of Americans felt their financial situation worsen over the year. And this information is coming from Yahoo Finance. 10 statistics on poor spending habits in 2025. Financial illiteracy costs, lack of personal finance knowledge costs that average American adults $948 in 2025, totaling over 246 billion nationally. That's some big numbers. Impulse buying via social media. Approximately 84% of buyers admitted to making impulsive purchases, with 52% of Gen Z users buying directly from social media platforms, a 9% increase from the previous year. And then you have the buy now, pay later users. So about 57% of buy now, pay later users use the service to purchase items they could not otherwise afford. Whether that's a good idea or not, I think it's a bad idea. Invisible debt. Nearly 31% of buy now, pay later users admitted to losing track of how much they actually owed across multiple payments
Mm-hmm.
and get lost in it all. Late payment surge. The rate of late payments for buy now, pay later services rose to 41% in 2025, up from 34% a year earlier, indicating growing cash flow stress. Emotional spending. Roughly 28% of Americans cited making impulse purchases based on emotions as one of their top financial regrets of the year. Living beyond means. More than 26% of Americans reported spending more than they earn, often fueled by doom spending to cope with stress and anxiety.
Mm.
Subscription creep. Over 25% of consumers continue to pay for streaming services they rarely or never used. Convenience despite high inflation, 22% of Americans frequently use food delivery services, while 29% regularly overspend on pre-cut or convenience foods. So I guess that would be like eating out.
Right.
And then we have our low savings buffers. A majority of Americans reported having less than $1,000 in savings, leaving them vulnerable to the unexpected expenses that upset the budgets of 28% of households. And I really think that number should be bigger. So with
Mm-hmm.
no further ado, I want to introduce Chris to open your mouth and speak. So, Chris, first
Yeah.
question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your origin story or what made you interested in finances?
Well, from being young, when I started out, I learned a little about finances. The financial world in schools is not there the way it should be. Kids in school don't
Right.
even have to write in cursive anymore. So a lot of things have changed.
Yes.
So when I started studying, credit, wealth building, and home ownership, I realized that it's a lot of people out here that needs it. I know now it's more powerful to have knowledge than the money, you know? And
Right.
understand that it's a lot of people out here, especially in our community, really don't understand the process. I've seen so many of us going to banks and try to get approved, and they think that, oh, the bank don't approve us because, we are certain race. Sometimes that may be the issue, and sometimes it might not be. Sometimes we really don't have our things together. We don't have it in
Right.
order to get approved. Now, for those who've done that and they came across a barrier, that's totally different. I'm talking about
Right.
people who don't have things in the proper way it should be in order to get the financing, order to get the approval that they're looking for. So my thing is I had to learn this on my own mostly, So I feel that by me struggling with that, years before I got into it, this is something that's needed, and I don't feel that we should be ashamed of telling, the next person, I can help you with this. We can get through that, with helping you with certain things. But the key thing is I'm willing to teach who wants to learn.
Right. Got to be a willing participant.
hmm
So, what is a common myth about your work that you like to bust?
that in order for you to be in this world to survive, or such as an investor or a person who's trying to build, that you already have to have the money. I feel that that's not right. I believe people really think, you have to be rich in order to have something.
Right.
People start from a starting point, unless they started with a silver spoon. Of course, we're not talking about those. But
Right.
9 times out of 10, how many millionaires in the world? It's a small percentage
I
that
think like
started out that way.
10%.
Correct.
Yeah, of 100.
You know, so
Yes,
obviously the other 80, 90% had to actually work hard for what they got. So
right.
for me, I think most people think you have to start out with money in order to survive.
But the conflict with that would be that before it was a time when the housing market wasn't so expensive, people could afford houses. So therefore, those mom and pop shops, they started those because they could afford to do it. But what would you say about that now? With people wanting to
Um,
start a business and not having the financial backing for it?
I don't, the reason why I don't agree with that a little is because time do change. If we
Yes,
gonna start that, we might as well go back to the 1900s where they didn't have anything, okay?
right,
And they built. Remember, it was a Black Wall Street, okay?
right.
That was built. So in order for that to happen, what people had to do? Come together,
Mm-hmm.
and put their money together in order to
Right.
do so. So more so, it's more so coming together to give each other the opportunity. Okay. Now the cost of living is higher, but guess what? The pay is also higher too. It may not be what people want it to be, but you're not making $2 an hour anymore. You're not doing that anymore. Minimum wage has gone up. It's more opportunities out here for people. Some people don't even have to go on a job now. You can use your screen to make millions of dollars. So
That is
I
true.
feel that you have to have the knowledge, the discipline, and the
Mm-hmm.
strategy in order to make it because now you have more millionaires popping out more with basically doing nothing compared to the working people back then. They had to
Right.
work hard, tears and sweat. They had to pay for commercials. We had to use phone books, the yellow pages. Now you got everything at your fingertip. So
That's
it's
true.
just a matter of you putting the right plan together, and having the knowledge to execute it. And
So with
again,
that being, sorry, say that again.
and to be disciplined, you have to be disciplined.
Key point. So now, why do you think that particular misconception has become so widespread? Why did that become so widespread?
Because people don't understand the steps of wealth building. That's why. Um, the other day I heard someone said that people are crazy that want to own homes. Like you would never own it anyway. I was like, what? The ignorance of people, and I don't mean that in a harsh way, but some
Mhm.
ignorance, it spreads quicker than
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
actual facts of things. Okay. And I spoke with a client the other day, and we actually went back and forth about it. And he was really, like telling me home ownership is like nothing. Like why people want to own homes. You'll never own it. You always got to pay taxes. But don't you realize the person you renting from own that property?
That's right.
The person that you're renting from owns that property.
Hmm.
Who you think is benefiting off that?
The owner.
Of course, the owner. Now, my thing is because you don't know how to do something, that don't mean it can't be done, and that don't mean it's not the right thing to do. I feel some people feel that they can't achieve it, so they knock it.
Right.
So that's why I feel certain things are widespread because the negative spread quicker than positive. That's in anything in life.
Hmm.
And everybody jump on the bandwagon. So now you got a bunch of people out here renting and okay with
Right.
it. And then anything happen to them, what's going to happen with your children?
Right. They're gonna have to keep renting, but what if they can't own it? What if they're too young at the time if you pass away young?
That's why you have certain things in place. You have insurance. Am I
Hmm.
right, Monica?
Right.
You have things in place that can protect your family. Now, instead of you going out there paying for what? Wendy's, McDonald's every day, put that in the savings.
Hmm.
Pay your insurance every month. Those things are more important than going out and doing certain things.
That's true.
That's
It's
no
just
different
changing the
than life.
mindset. Right.
You
Got to
know,
change that mindset.
you got to change your mindset. That's no different in life insurance. If you pay it, you don't need it. But guess what? You don't know when you're going to need it.
That's
Car
right.
insurance, same way. You may not need it, but you don't know when you're going to need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's life.
Mm-hmm.
So we put our money where we want to put it and where we feel comfortable in. Okay. So if a
Mm-hmm.
person chooses to do that, then okay, you deal with the consequences. You
That's
deal,
right.
you deal with the consequences. That's all I can say. I'm not in the business to change people's minds. I'm trying to change your habits. That's two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Changing a mind is difficult, but a person who want to change their habits is a willing participant because
Right.
these are habits that you want to change. That's how it starts.
Right. That is true. So, Chris, can you walk me through your typical process when you start working with a new client? How does that look?
First, what we do, you have to understand their current financial position. Okay.
Right.
Their goals, and also I look at their credit, of course, financial habits, and readiness for the opportunity. That's the main thing. You have to actually identify in that person if they're ready to move forward. Some may have doubts, and some people have anxiety, and that's a big thing. That's why in my app, when we get down to it, it has an anxiety tracker. That way,
Wow.
certain things that may trigger you or make you fall back in that slump, that's something that can help. And that's some of the things that we have, or I do have to identify in a person to make sure they're ready to move forward. And
Right.
once I identify that, then I create a plan that I feel that will work so we can take the next step.
Okay. And I'm going to share my screen again so they can see what we're talking about when you talk about your app. This is it right here. I got the keys. And I would say during that process for myself personally, that I felt naked, revealing my bad spending habits.
Mhm.
Like no one wants to be exposed. So how do you help customers be comfortable with that part of it?
Um, For one, I want them to understand some things you got to have patience with.
Right.
You got to have patience.
Big
um,
time.
Financial growth don't happen overnight. It really doesn't. But with the right knowledge and the right action, can put you in the place you want to be. But the main thing is to be disciplined so we can remain focused on a long-term goal, not a short term, but a long term. And I think when you say long-term goals to people, that's when the patience part wear thin. Some people they want it right
Want it
now.
now.
They want it right
6 months at the most. You have to tell
now.
me a couple of times, slow it down. Yes. So can you add anything to that? Few important things new clients need to remember in this process besides being patient, slowing it down. Is there anything else that you can say about that?
Yeah, because what people really need to understand is the fundamentals, meaning that wealth isn't just about income. Okay. It's
Right.
about strategy, ownership, making decisions, that benefit your future. So that's one thing people have to understand. The next thing people need to understand is focus on building systems that can help you acquire wealth,
Right. Such as,
such as creating opportunities, you know, businesses, better your career. It's different things that we can do now to enhance what we want to work towards.
right. Great points. So how do you view your financial point of view versus the majority of people?
Um, Again, I do feel that wealth is not, about just income. There's more to it. When you speak of wealth, what do you, and I ask clients, when you hear the word wealth, and I can ask you, what do you think of?
Well, I know it's not only money, it's
Hmm.
things that you own. It could be your mental state of mind. It could be a lot of things, but not just money.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's what I do. That's the first thing I ask people, how do you look at money? How do you look at wealth? And when I ask them that, some people be like, is that the same thing? That's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. It's
Mhm,
not the same thing. We always can't categorize wealth with just dollar signs.
mhm.
Wealth can be streams of income. Wealth can be your health, being in the right state of mind to be able to get these things done, you know?
Right,
So it's a lot of things we have to put in place in order to make it work. Um, some people be like, I'm not a business owner. I understand that. That's not for everybody. Okay.
right.
Guess
Hmm.
what? It's other things you can do. It's other streams of income if you want to add. It's ways you can make money off of insurance.
Hmm.
Is but again, that comes from what? Knowledge,
Right.
understanding. It's not always opening up a business.
Great points. So what's been your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
With me,
Hmm.
that not every opportunity or partnership is in line with my goals. I had to understand that. Just because a friend want to go in and do something that might be their dream,
Right.
that don't mean I have to jump in. Because
Yes.
maybe what you see fit for how it to work may not be the best for them, you know?
Right. Hmm.
Um, Failure actually taught me to have patience, you know, do my due diligence, okay?
Meaning,
Meaning that finding out more about what it is about that project or what it takes to complete it. How long would it take me? And do I have the drive to be patient long enough to complete it?
right. And
You understand where I'm coming from? Hmm.
that would mean partnerships too, right? The right people to be in business with.
Correct. Everything. Everything. Um, that's when that's why I say do your due diligence. You have to do your due diligence on the person, on the project,
Hmm.
the business, or whatever you're trying to achieve. You always do your own homework.
And what would you say to someone who's on that journey about having some insightful people around them?
Um, the thing about it, you sometime I think you need self to your time to yourself to learn
Hmm.
about it. Then you can bring on people. Because I feel once you bring on people and don't have the full understanding, you're going off of what somebody say. You're not
Right,
actually going off of what it is. So I find that a lot, and I feel that that's not good. Sometimes when you start to do things, I think you need to be quiet about it, and learn on your own as much as you can. Then you reach out for help. Certain people got mentorship. They deal with men.
right,
Even with dealing with a mentor, I still think you should do your own due diligence because certain people do things their way.
right,
Okay. That might not work for you. Just like in school, it's different styles of learning.
right.
Okay. So what might work for that mentor that you pick may not work for you. So that's where I feel that sometimes you have to do your own due diligence, do your own homework so you know what would be the right way to go for you. Then if you need help, then you seek out, for people to help you put the plan together or whatever you may need.
And would you say that investing in yourself is seeking out having a maybe a financial coach or financial advisor?
Oh, of course, anything that you add to build you up is
Right.
investing in yourself. Now, one thing I don't believe in and I don't agree with some people that they feel because they came up with an idea that people should just dump everything in them. Reason being because even for me, I can speak on my own. When I started out my first business, it took me years to save the money. And at that time was only $3,000. And for me to even open up my first salon. And in order for me to do that, of course, I had the clientele to be able to do it to sustain,
Mm-hmm.
but also I didn't get real money or real people that believe in me until after I was open for some time. So I had to show myself approved. Okay.
Right.
No
People had to
one,
trust you.
exactly. But no one is going to, well, no one should just dump money on a person just because they got a good idea.
Right.
They got to be able to work that idea, you know. They have to be able to make sure when you take on certain responsibilities that you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, when stress come, they give up. You got to be
Right.
the kind of person you dealing with.
Got to have that mental muscle.
Correct. And everybody don't have that. Some people crumble, in stress. And if you don't give this person all your money, and when stress arrive, everybody fail.
And where's your money?
Where's your money?
It's a loss of investment.
So and not only the people that gave the money, the person who actually take on that responsibility, because that's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot when you said you gonna take on a certain responsibility to make sure everybody else is good. Even people
Mm-hmm.
who take care of other people within families or friends. When you decide that you're going to be that person they come to, you got to be prepared for that. Because some people going
Right.
to come. And you have to make the right decision to see, well, am I giving you this just to give it to you? Or is there any meaning behind it? Now, a person who can throw away money, do it. That's what you can do. But for myself, um, I believe in whatever I spend in, I have to see the results of it. I have to
Right.
see the result. I have to know where it's going. I got to know these things. And the reason being because of who I am. You're not gonna just tell me something and think I'm just gonna go for it.
Right. And I think that's a wise way to handle business. And so, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
If I can go back, I will probably start learning about financial literacy earlier. Okay. And never underestimate the power of knowledge.
Right.
To sooner, if I could have, take control earlier in life, I feel
Mm,
that I probably would be in a better place than I am now. But I do also believe that God has his timing. So,
right.
if I had to go back, if it was on me, I will start long ago. Then,
Right.
then in the past 20 years.
Okay. And what question do you wish more people would ask you?
Um, Not just how to get money, but also how to maintain it once they get it.
So not
That
enough people ask you that question.
no, they want to get it.
And then what do they do with it after it's all gone?
The conversation is always focused on getting money, how, what to do,
Yes.
you know. where my credit score got to be at, for me to get this $50,000, this $100,000, my business needs $200,000, $500,000. Okay, we can get, I can get you that 500,000, but guess what? What
Hmm.
you gonna do with it once you get it? You know,
Right.
growing
That's
wealth,
the question.
yes, growing wealth is just as important as getting it.
Yeah.
You got to know what to do with it. You got to
Hmm.
know what to do with it. So that's why when I do things like that, I have businesses to create, of course, spending lists,
Right.
a portfolio. Okay. What is it your business stand for? Why are you doing this? What do you need the funds for? You know, because um even though the bank give people a hard time, you go through this rigorous uh trial and tribulation to get it. Sometimes I feel that people do need a financial advisor to help guide them.
Yes.
Hmm.
If it was only a perfect world and the schools would realize, as though they don't, that we do need children to start learning this process earlier.
Hmm.
Because why else would there be so many people that's financially literate? Like
Hmm.
it's such a hard situation, it's a hard conversation, but if children were to discover this younger, it would be such a better world.
Right. And like I say, now people have the means than they had 20 years ago. Now you
Right.
got everything at your fingertips. If you want to know something, you can find it. You
Yes.
the screens are not black and white anymore. It's in color. So
Yes, it is.
we've come a long way. Most people who are in debt today is because they want to be in debt. It's
Yeah.
ways that we can get out of a financial slump. Now, don't take what I'm saying from people who actually going through something. That's totally different. I'm speaking on people who know better and can do better. But
Right.
again, that's their life. People that's going through certain situations in life that don't have a choice and doing certain things. Like for instance, um, what we talked about earlier, those buy here, pay here. You were saying earlier?
Yes, the buy here, pay here loans that you can acquire.
Okay, that's a choice.
That is a choice.
That is a choice. You follow what I'm saying? Now,
Hmm.
if it's not paying, your needs, that's totally different. But I doubt if Clarin paying people light bill, or are they? What they use that for, right? So
Yep.
certain things, people get because they want it.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying certain things that you want is a want, is not a need. If you
Right.
going to get these things to make sure everyday things that you need is taken care of, then that's a different story. But if you
Yes, it is.
choose to do, okay, you choose to do that, just own it. Own it. But don't be around here being like, I'm in debt because I don't have it. No, that's not it. That separates, people that have and the have nots. You
Right.
got people who really don't have. They really don't have. And it's not always because of poor choices, it's because of life.
Hmm.
So that's what I determine if a person really is ready. Because if you got bad spending habits, that's just what you got.
And it needs to change. Those habits got to change.
Yes, so that don't mean you really in debt. You in debt because you want to be in debt. Some people in debt because they have no choice.
Right.
That's the difference. And
Mm.
I feel that the people who really mean well don't get the opportunity that they need to do better versus the ones who just take their money and just blow it. You know, they figure out ways to still get money and blow it.
Right. Bad, poor spending habits. And I would say, like you said, it is a lot of us that have grown up in households where we just didn't know any better.
Yep.
But once you know better, you can do better. And there's ways to find out to do better.
Hmm.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your all these wonderful insights with our audience. Please let listeners know how they can get in touch with you.
They definitely can get in touch with me at the Apple and Google Play Store. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
Following with my financial literacy book. Do you have that also? I can show them. And definitely when I do certain seminars, they definitely can come to those as well.
Right. And this is the aftermath of buying the blueprint of to financial literacy, liberty, excuse me.
Hmm.
Sorry about that.
That can be found on Amazon.
Okay. And then you're an author of another book, which I want to show everyone. Let me share my screen again. And this is The Antidote for a Sniper's Vision, Unleash the Lion in You by Chris K. Purpose to Prosperity. And
Hmm.
this is an ebook.
Book, yes.
And you can definitely download this as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I would say thank you so much for giving of yourself to others because a lot of what you do, you don't have to do. I know that some people will not do um, what you do as far as giving of yourself for others to understand this journey of financial literacy. And is there anything else that you want to say to our audience before I go into my closing?
Um, no more than I appreciate it. You're a really good person.
Thank you.
Um, I'm thankful of the opportunity and what you're doing, how you giving back to the community by having these
Yeah.
podcasts. I
Yes.
think something great that you're doing, and it's definitely a blessing to the community.
And we would love to have you back. So many ways to explore financial literacy.
Thank
But you
you.
guys have to check out her books. You have to get in touch with her, download that app because she is full of knowledge. Such a wonderful, beautiful person inside and out. And
Thank
so, for my closing, thank you to our listeners for tuning in. As we heard today, healing becomes possible when we share our stories, as Chris did, support one another as she does, and recognize the strength that comes from being open about our experiences. Let's carry forward this message hurt people heal and help hurt people. No matter where you are on your journey, sharing your experiences can bring hope and healing to others. Through it all, we are reminded of the power of God at work in our lives, empowering growth, resilience, and restoration. By sharing, you encourage, inspire, and remind others and yourself of the hope, faith, and transformation that is possible. Please visit our website for more information at www.openyourmouthandspeak.com. Again, our website is www.openyourmouthandspeak.com. Thank you so much, Chris. And to our
you.
listeners, God bless and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.